before after. When I line up my C-cups, I always start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. I'm also making sure I go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and you won't line them up properly. Now we're going to use a little bit of shear work to make sure we cut the top evenly with the sides. When using your shears, you want to stay as consistent as possible with every cut, because if not, then it's going to be very uneven. Here I'm using my no guard all the way open to blend in my sideburns, and I'm also using my lever slightly closed. Now we're moving on to my one guard all the way open after using the no guard all the way open. Moving on to our shear work, we're going to start off with our first guideline in the top and then work our way to the sides. As you can see, I'm removing about 1.5 inches of hair because he did come in with a lot. We also want to make sure we cut at certain angles to make sure he gets a certain shape that he's looking for. As you can see here in the back, I'm cutting at a certain angle, and here I'm cutting at a certain angle just to make sure it could blend with the hair. Moving on to the beard, we're going to debulk it with the 3 guard all the way open, going with the grain, and then line it up through the bottom using our Gold FX. Now that we're done lining up the beard, we can move on to the front line and separate his hair from the top. As you can see, there's a lot of uneven hairs that need to be cut and lined up. So I'm making sure I make an even part, and I'm taking hairs that I do want to cut out. Now that we have a nice enough part, I'm going to switch over to my one guard all the way open and debulk the hairline. Now we're going to start off with our Gold FX in the middle and work our way to the sides. Of course, you always want to keep the vertical bars as natural as possible, so I'm making sure I don't go too in. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, go ahead and leave a super thanks down below or follow the Instagram. As you can see, we're trying to match the other side as much as possible to the first side we lined up to. Man, I feel like it's looking crispy, man. Leave a comment down below if you feel like it's crispy. Now that we're done with the cut, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Durable Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. You always want to make sure you keep the blade at a 45-degree angle and stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. You also want to pay very high attention to this area. Now that we're done with the facial hair, we're gonna go ahead and pin up the hair and begin to line up his hairline. But before we line him up, we're gonna go ahead and debulk with the 1.5 guard all the way open, which is equivalent to a 2 guard closed. Now that we're done debulking the hairline going with the grain, we could go ahead and move on to our gold FX and start off in the middle, working our way to the sides. Again, you want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. Now we're going to go ahead and connect this side to the right side. You want to keep the corners and vertical bars as natural as possible. You want to make sure you don't go too deep in and also cut them too short. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derber premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. Before you use your razor, you always want to make sure you apply some shave gel so that the razor could glide better. Also, you want to keep the razor at a 45-degree angle and stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone.